Hoi hoi folks, good morning, good afternoon and good evening wherever you are in the world. My name's Sean, aka Uncle Frogface, and welcome to today's video. If you're new here, then welcome. If you're not new, then welcome back. It is Friday. That means with the new schedule going forward, this is craft day. So it's making day, time to make something. I actually have a kit today that I bought from a fellow YouTuber to kind of show off because actually I think they're incredibly cute. So today we're going to be talking about mindfulness and about moving meditation whilst doing some slow stitching. So I'm going to turn the camera around, I'm going to have a look, we'll talk a little bit about what slow stitching is and why I'm doing a mindfulness video today as well, and we'll dive in and I'm just going to have fun today, nice relaxing time creating a little bit of stitching. Hello, welcome to my desk. I have my cup of tea as usual. I also have my pomegranate coconut candle, which is the one that I'm slowly burning through at the moment, lit on the desk. Honestly, I think having a nice smelling workspace, it's weird, but it kind of really relaxes me and chills me out. Right, so the kit that I've got today, this is for a cuff bracelet. It's a slow stitch cuff bracelet. This is a kooky kit from Cool Kooky Creatures. This is Tori. She is lovely. I'm going to try and focus on here. There we are. So at Kooky Creatures on YouTube, Etsy, Instagram and Facebook. And I am going to put their details down below as well because these kits are cheap. They're very cheap, but actually I think it's going to be really, really fun. So I basically said to Tori, because I was late, she released all of these and I had it on my list of like, I need to get one of those. And when I reached out to her, they had already sold out. They'd literally been up a day and all of the kits had sold out. She does them in lots of different colour combinations. So I was like, oh, I'm really sad. Next time they come up, please let me know. So she actually put this together especially for me. She asked what colour set I would like. It was either going to be Parma Violets or Tutti Frutti, but I said I like both of those. I'm going to let you decide which one to send out to me, and she decided to send me out the Tutti Frutti, which honestly I'm not mad about. So let's open this up and have a look what is inside this kit. This is always the best part of opening any kit. See, exploring, seeing what is inside. So we've got lots of little scraps and bits of fabric, got some ribbons, got some embroidery floss. I think this is I think we've got some 2 and some 3 ply embroidery floss, some edging with some pom-poms there. We've got some buttons and looks like little jingle bells and sequins and beads in there as well. Yet more bits of fabric. Oh, look at that, that's really lovely. Little bits of felt, that is incredibly glittery. Look at this. How shiny. And look, it just keeps going. More bits of fabric. Look at all of this. Sorry, this is insane. There is so much in here. We've got this large piece of fabric as well, and we've got a large piece of felt. Right, so we have got, here we go. So we've got base fabric, felt, got all of these bits in here. So 2 felt pieces, 1 base fabric, fabric scraps, thread, embroidery floss or other. Then optional sequins, beads, metallic thread, buttons, a needle, fastenings for cuff, optional, template for applique pieces. We've got a few bits down here. This is the size for my wrist, so measure yours and alter accordingly. So this is kind of our pattern. And then down here we have got links to my YouTube videos for this project. I'm just going to link these down below. So we've got a slow stitch cuff bracelet part 1, slow stitch, put my teeth back in, slow stitch cuff bracelet part 2, and then down here we go, we've got some written instructions as well. So cut out pattern pieces, adjust for your wrist size as necessary, place patterns on felt and fabric, cut 2 of the felt pieces as you will need one for backing. What is slow stitching? So slow stitching basically is a kind of embroidery, but it's without a hoop, it's without any guidelines, there's no real pattern. You're literally sewing what you want to sew and embroidering and stitching however you want to do. So there are so many different embroidery stitches, not that you need to do those. There are so many different ways of doing appliques and attaching buttons and beads and all of that kind of stuff. And it's basically just a way of chilling out, disconnecting from everything, taking some time for yourself and stitching something fun. There's no rhyme or reason to this. You might go geometric, you might go kind of nature inspired. So this is just a time and space to relax and be free and just create. So what I'm going to do is I am going to... Oh, actually, that's something I should check. Is there... Yes, there is. There's a needle in here. Excellent. So I've got everything that I need in this kit to get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and kind of lay bits out and kind of measure and cut out my base pieces, and then really think about what I'm going to do with this and what patterns and shapes and things I'm going to make. So bear with me just a moment and I'll be back with a kind of idea. Yeah, be back in just a minute. Okay, so there were a couple of things that aren't in the kit which hopefully everyone has got. So first thing, scissors. These are my thread snippers. I also have these, which are my very fancy shears for only for fabric, nothing else. I also have something to hold down and pin fabric in place. So I've got some pins. This is actually from my bobbin lace kit. So a load of brass pins. I also have these clips as well. So since literally 3 seconds ago, I've cut out my pieces. So actually this piece here, 22 centimeters long, was quite long. It wrapped round and kind of doubled over on itself. So I wanted to make sure there's a little bit of a gap so that I can attach the fastening. So this is what I've done. I've shortened it a little bit. It's a little bit thicker, but it's a little bit shorter. So I've cut out this piece, and then I've cut out my green backing fabric as well. And now what I need to do is secure this all in place. So I need to go round and pin all of these pieces in place so that I can then just tack everything together. So I need to do that on the corners as well. Should I snip these corners and tuck them? Yeah, I think I might. So yeah, basically I'm gonna tack all of this in place, and I'll come back to you once we've done that, and then we can get to the fun part of placing all of the pieces and doing the mindfulness and stitching and just chilling out. So just a few minutes later, and you can see I've just gone through and whip stitched all of this down. If we look on the other side, you'll see I literally have just gone through this folded over section and the felt and left this nice and clean on the front. So it feels a little bit like a pillow at the moment because it's not been pressed or anything, but that's absolutely fine because as we stitch through, it's going to pull it all together. So now comes a really fun part, so I'm told, which is taking all of these pieces and laying them out where you kind of want them on the fabric. So the good thing with this is I already have a colour scheme laid out. I really like these pieces. If we got any more of those, they're fab. I love these pattern pieces. The block colours are great, but some of these pattern pieces are absolutely gorgeous. Look, I'm just kind of layering things up, overlaying them on top of each other, thinking about where I want. So I really like that. It's kind of a piece over other pieces like that, see? So I'm just going to spend a few moments, kind of zone out and lay up what I want, and I'll come back to you once I've kind of snipped everything and placed it where I want. I'm just going to use some pins to tack them in place. So I've zoomed in just a little bit to show you what I've done. So I'm going quite geometric with this actually. And I've just cut out some sections that I like, and I've placed them on top here, and I've pinned them all in place. I've also just taken some of this 6-strand embroidery floss and separated it into 2-strand sections. This is like 3 or 4 times the length of this. And I've got one here on my needle already. I've tied a knot in this, which is quite hard to see. But because we're doing a backing on this, it doesn't really matter if there's a knot at the back. And all I'm going to do is come a little bit closer to the edge, actually. There we are. I'm going to go through and just create some running stitches and do a line all the way up here, and then turn around and come back and round and back, and we're just going to go back and forth and tack everything into place. So that didn't take very much time at all. So you can see I've just gone back and forth. I actually ended up only using 2 of those lengths to go back and forth, and I've gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times back and forth, and then everything is now basically pinned down. Important to remember, I have taken the pins out of this now, so I'm not going to stab myself at all like I did a couple of times whilst I was sewing this. But that's, if you sew, then you know you get stuck with pins. That's why these clippy things are so useful and very cheap on Amazon. But now that we've got this part down, it's actually just about my lunchtime, so I'm probably going to take a little bit of a break from this. I am a quick sewer. This was noticed actually recently at a weaving workshop I was at. I was weaving very quickly as well. I get into that zone of just and I'm not thinking about what I'm doing, and it becomes an automatic action, which is part of the meditation of this, I suppose. But as I was working this, I found myself getting slower and slower and just kind of zoning out, and maybe that's part of the whole slow stitch thing. When I come back from lunch, I'm going to be using some of these other threads. So I've got this pink and this orange. So what you're supposed to do is go around each of these shapes and basically stitch around the edge of all of them. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to stitch around the negative space, so where you've got these green sections, because I think that's going to be a little bit more interesting with the shapes. So I'm going to go and have my lunch, going to make myself a fresh cup of tea, and when I come back, I'm going to give this an experiment. Anyway, there might be a couple of extra bits where I need to go over, but I think mostly this is going to work. So as I do this little bit of border stitching and just chill out and enjoy my own time, now's the perfect time to talk about mindfulness. And there's a reason I'm doing this at the moment. So May is Mental Health Awareness Month, or one of 2 in the year. But I have noticed a trend recently with some of my friends that they are feeling burnout, particularly my artist friends. They're feeling burnout, they're feeling a little bit worn down, and I've been there. I've definitely been there, and it's something I'm very conscious of at the moment with the new video schedule that I've had, that I don't want to be feeling burnout, so I'm making sure I'm managing my time very, very well, keeping diaries and to-do lists and all that kind of stuff, which I find helps me, and different things help different people, so definitely find what helps you. But as part of any schedule, you should have time for yourself, mindful time. So mindfulness is just being present in that moment and not think about anything else, just concentrating on the task that you are doing. So that might be listening to a piece of music and being engaged in that, cooking a meal, and really focusing on what you are doing, not letting anything on the outside come in. Every single day I go for a walk. It may be 10 minutes, 20 minutes, sometimes it might be an hour, but while I'm on that walk, I'm only concentrating on that walk. I'm trying not to think about anything else at all. So doing something like this, just a small craft for myself, there's no strict rules, nothing like that. This is a mindful task. It's basically a meditation. It's a moving meditation. You're doing something and you're concentrating on what you're doing and not letting anything else come in. And honestly, it has been a saving grace for my mental health. I know it has for a lot of other people too. So if you are starting to feel a bit of burnout, if you are feeling bogged down by everyday life, just try a little bit of mindfulness, a craft, a walk, whatever it is. Anyway, I'm nearly done with this stitching, so let's get back to the rest of the video. There we are, so after lunch and a little bit of time, this is where we are so far. So I'm keeping this all very loose, which is giving it a kind of watermelon Frankenstein look, which honestly I quite like. It's a little bit goth, but a little bit pastel, which is not the first time this week that I've said that. But yeah, I'm enjoying this. So I've got this down. Basically now it's about embellishments. So I've got, this is my button that is part of my fastening, and of course my band, which goes on the other end, so that'll fasten around my wrist. But I've got all of these other little bits, and I just tip these out. There we go. I've got the bells, which I really like. I think they're super cute. Got some sequins as well, and I've got, this is yeah, we've got some green and some pinky purple sequins. We've got some little beads. We've got some buttons too. So I just need to think about where I want these placed, and then kind of start sewing things on. Maybe doing a few more decorative stitches as well. So I've got some more thread here, and I've got some blank spaces. So I might go through and just do some decorative stitching, kind of following lines, that kind of thing. And yeah, so I'm just gonna again chill out with a podcast, and I'm enjoying this. I'm having a nice relaxing craft day. Now that I've got all of the adornments on there that I want, I've sewn the button on that side, and I've also sewn the elastic onto this side as well. It's time to take this, which I've retrimmed to the same size as this, and I'm gonna grip it into place like this all the way around, and then I'm gonna go around and blanket stitch all the way around. I think I'm gonna do, what colour should I do my blanket stitching in? I may do the green, you know. Had a bit more green on there. Yeah, I'm going to blanket stitch all the way around in the embroidery floss just as it is. And I'll come back to you at the end. Oh, I have changed my needle for a slightly thicker needle for two reasons. One, I'm using embroidery floss, and it's easier to pull the thread through if you've already got a larger needle. Secondly, I dropped the other one. So it's somewhere on the floor in here, and I haven't quite found it yet. Hopefully I don't step on it. I don't think I will. I think I'm just going to take this whole lot off and have at it. Right, we're nearing the end, so I will see you guys when this is done. Okay, are you ready? I have gone around and done all of my stitching around the outside, and this is what we have. So I'm actually gonna I'm gonna give Tori a message and say actually she should change the name of this away from Tutti Frutti, and that it should be Watermelon Frankenstein, because that's definitely what I'm getting from this. But essentially we take the loop, hook it round over the bottom, and there we go. And it's even got a little jingle. Not only that, look at all of this that is left over. I mean, with a little bit of felt, I could make another one, no problem. So I've got sequins and beads and all sorts left over. So this, so mine doesn't overlap because I wanted to have a little bit of breathing space. I don't like it when things are completely around my wrist. So that's why I've done mine like that. You can have yours overlapping, have it however you want. Have it however you want, but this is mine, and I am very pleased with it. Tell me what you think in the comments down below. As always, I really hope you've enjoyed today's video, and until next time, goodbye.